I want to ask you, so the conventional pattern of life is school, uni, work.
Yeah.
And you are going or swimming against the current, and you have like an unconventional path. And we've established this like a while back. Like, there's no template for your life. Like, you can't look at someone's life and be like, oh, those are sort of the steps like, God is literally cooking from scratch, as he does with a lot of our stories. But he's like cooking in a separate room. Facts, dog. I'm not even gonna lie, dog. And it's also like, likewise, it's an inspirational journey to see, because I'm like, there's so much going on, and you have such a successful life, in that you are living happily, you are building your home, you get to be in the formative years of your son's life.
Yeah.
So my question for you is, in a world where it feels like you need to be busy and you need to be in the workforce and you need to have a 9 to 5, like you need to wake up, shower, go to work, come back, cook dinner, and then end.
Yeah.
And your story is not like that at all. You're living the dream. Like, I'm just like, I literally prayed. I was like, God, if you want, can I also be like a stay-at-home mom?
Yeah.
And it's also a life that looks glamorized, especially on social media. Are there any insights or things that we don't know about being a stay-at-home mom? Are there any challenges that you're facing? What are the nice parts? Like, anything that you'd like to regurgitate or just to chat about regarding being a stay-at-home mom in a world that is so fixated on, like,
convention.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say this. And I mentioned it again in the previous episode of Schools Part 2, that swimming against the current isn't a fun thing. Already that image of water coming this way and you having to swim that way is hard. You know, it's something difficult, especially because I'm more of like a shy, reserved person that doesn't want to stick out. Like, don't at me, dog. Like, I want to swim with the current, you know? And also having seen your lives, your father's life, you know, let me say you rather, because I didn't see your father in university. I was still swimming.
Charles.
Because you know.
Swiggy.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. But I think watching your life unfold, I was like, I can't wait for my turn. You know, it's like, oh, when I also finish with high school and then I also go into varsity and then doors open for me to work and all of these things. And then God was like, no, my dear, I have something else in store for you.
Wow.
Something very different that I did not grasp at the beginning. It took me, I think, 4 years after high school to actually get on board with understanding that God wants to do something different with my life. And I think for a long time I felt ashamed, you know, of how my life looks different. And every time I'm in a season, you know, I'm in one season and then it cuts like abruptly. Like, we're done here.
There's no like, seamless transition, no heads up, no nothing.
It's just we're moving on to the next thing. And then when I think that this is the thing, it's like, no, this is not the thing. So after I did my rewrite of my 2 subjects, let me not say they're not mine, it's fine. Those 2 subjects, I did an internship at church. And then, you know, with people that you used to go to school with, oh, so what are you doing now? Oh, I'm doing an internship. Oh, wow, I'm sure they're paying you nice. I'm like, oh. So the thing is about this internship, it's more about the experience.
Yeah.
You know, so no, I wasn't getting paid. Again, that was a bit embarrassing because it's an unheard of thing where you are the one that pays. I didn't even get my certificate for the second time because I didn't pay fees. Oh, I got my certificate for the first year. But in that first year, actually, you even like, I think God also gave you the eyes to see over my life in that time where he was leading you to prompt me towards that direction of doing the internship. And I think that was the first time I listened, because I wasn't listening with everything else.
Even internship, dog, I had to like brush it.
Yeah, you had to
continuously.
You were so gentle and you had tact, and you were just like, the first time you mentioned it to me, I was like, ugh, like, why is she doing that?
Yuck.
Like, why are you saying that? Like, get away from me before you start manifesting things. And then I remember going through heartbreak, and on the like, God was doing so much in that weekend, didn't she? Where he was just cutting the old, and he's like, I'm paving a way for the new. And I remember the Sunday, I think it was the last day of registration or whatever, I said, I'm going to register for internship. And I remember I was crying, I was emotional, because I could feel that I'm doing something that God is directing me in. So I'm like, okay, I do internship, and then I'm like, okay, we're going to do this for a year.
Lol.
Because it is a year. Well, you can do a second year as well. But sometimes people just do a year and then do other things the next year. So I'm like, we're going to do a year. And I'm like, okay, God, I'm thinking I'm going to be rewarded for my obedience. And then I'm going to go and study, because I still wanted to study, right?
Swap.
And then God is like, nah, you're going to do second year. And
Who did we meet in the second year?
not Elvis Presley, that's for sure. It was my husband.
Yeah.
My husband.
The Lord was cooking.
Yeah.
He
I
knew-
actually met him in my first year.
But he did internship in your second year. So
Yeah.
that was like extra
He was my first year.
time together.
I was his ruler.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry. So
was
then,
it 30 centimeters?
Timby.
Sorry.
So the funny thing is, I actually have a story about how I ended up doing second year. So I was really adamant on studying. So I sent through my application. I was trying to send through my application. I was trying to send through my applications, right? But for some reason, it wasn't going through, right? And I'm like, for days, I'm like wondering what's going on. Like I can't click on submit, the option of submit. I couldn't click on it. And so I think I double tapped on submit, and then an option of look up, like a toolbar popped up, and look up, the words look up came. I clicked on look up, and it gave me a definition of submit. And it was to yield to a higher power.
After saying look up.
After saying look up, and I got the definition of submit, I remember I wept. After that, I wept, because that was a divine intervention for me, because I wasn't listening. And then God was like, hey, I need you to submit to me. I'm telling you to go to second year. Then I surrendered, and then I go into second year, right? I do second year, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, finally, yeah. Because there's no third year, So I'm like, the next year is going to be my year where I get to go and study, and start doing career things. And then that's when I got led into theology.
Oh, yeah, BTC.
Yeah, that's when I got led into theology. Theology, great. Loved my first year. I'm doing great. I'm getting distinctions here and there. Like, I'm flourishing.
And you've got great friends.
Yeah. And then second year happens. I was not supposed to do second year. And ngapapa. And it was thriving. That was the year where, yeah.
The year when what?
Yo. Let me just say, your mother and father.
Oh.
There was a lot happening.
We don't talk about Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno.
That's the year our parents separated.
Yeah. It all just, they were going through a separation. They were not paying my fees.
That year was a ghetto, dog.
But they bought our little brother a PS5. As for they can't afford
Hear me-
fees,
hear me out.
Whoa.
Isn't that the year you got married as well?
No, I think it was
The next year.
the previous year.
Oh, you got married before?
In my first year.
Bro, you can't be mad at the PS5. He was the only kid in the house.
My brother.
They had to give
I'm
him
trying to build my
something.
future here.
My brother.
It's not like I was not at vets. It's not like they,
He's experiencing a separation of parents in their house. Me and you are gone. We have that luxury. Anyway, qhubeka ngestory sakho, but I feel like he deserved it.
Where? So, that happens. I get kicked out of school, literally. And I was the only one because I wasn't the only one who wasn't paying fees. There were so many people, but I was getting kicked out because God was like, you're not listening to what I'm saying.
That's not nice.
I literally went to school Ngenkani the one time. I was attending. Oh, this was during COVID, so we were doing online classes. I would attend classes. I would ask my friends to send me the code and and then this one lecturer was doing the register, and she's like, she's asking me go to Ngobani. She's like, am I internal or external? I'm like, I don't even know what I said. She's like, okay. So she pretends like she's going through the session. She kicks me out of the meeting. Ooh. So, and then I even bought textbooks.
Is it safe to say that was Delulu?
It was so delulu.
Okay.
Because I was, when you apply faith but it's blind.
And that thing's got us and my Christian brothers and sisters, dog.
On a chokehold.
Brother? Jesus is my vaccine.
Sorry, I needed to burp.
Daddy moo.
And so I went to go buy textbooks. And then one of the deputies called. They said they sent an email that they would like to meet with me. I'm like, maybe, I'm getting a chance or a scholarship or something. Yo, did they not shout at me in that office?
Don't come by my house.
Yo, I got shouted at, bruh. I got shouted at as a whole grown human being. Already my parents are separating. This person is telling me that, yo, that was a difficult time in my life because I was walking in blind faith and believing so much for this thing to happen, but it was not meant to be that, because that's not where God was directing me. And I thought I would finish my 4 years and get my degree, right? Sharp. Then God moves me into working in sports.
Oh, yeah.
So I work in sports. I'm like, this is great. But it's not my forever thing. Then I get not a permanent position, but I'm like now internal. And so my life kind of like progresses in that way. I'm like, okay, so maybe this is what we're going to do. But I was like, I don't really want to do this. And then God moves me from sports to the classroom. And this is where I pick up my studies again. I'm studying education. I'm like, okay, finally, this is where my career is headed.
Mind you, I'm living the dream because my sister and I are working at the same place.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
The best.
It was the best thing ever. And I was adamant that this is what God wants me to do. Like, this is it. Because a lot of them were a this is it moment. And I think it got to a point where I didn't care what it was anymore.
As long as it's
something that I can sink my teeth into and say this is it and finish it, because all these other things I didn't finish because it felt like they ended prematurely, so I thought, then for some reason I could not see myself at the finishing line of this degree. Like when
sometimes you can fantasize and like imagine, your imagination said shut down.
Yeah, no. I couldn't imagine myself as Mrs. Dube with my name on the door and this being my classroom and, like at the end of it. I couldn't. And that made me question a lot. I'm like, why? I'm like, I'm not passionate about what I do, but I do love it, and I can be happy,
I'm happy if you want.
I'm happy if you want, Lord. Please I was just so desperate because I'm like, please don't take it away from me.
Sure.
Like I'm happy here. Like I feel like I'm finally settled. In my I only did 1 year. Surprise, surprise. And then God called me to become a stay-at-home mom. So that's a very long story to how I actually got here. But I think it's a story that
It was helpful.
yeah. So, and I'm sure a lot of people were confused. Guti, what are you doing with your life? Because I'm always like doing something and then it's not complete, and then
Then the
I'm
next
moving
day
into
it's something else.
Then the next year it's something else, and then that's when this was in 2024. That was my last year. 2025, when I'm supposed to go back and work, I resigned in that January. And it was a hard but not hard decision to make. Because when I yielded to that, when I yielded to that, I felt such a freedom and a release, because that was the very first time in my life that I surrendered to God with my career,
Sure.
with my work. And so I felt like I was released from a cage that I put myself in.
Wow.
And it made me very emotional, but I still had to work on myself in terms of like getting over wanting the career, wanting like being successful in one career, and like, you know, having a career, let me say. I had to overcome that. And also saying I'm a stay-at-home mom felt a bit embarrassing, because it felt like it was premature for me, because I always imagined myself as a stay-at-home mom with a qualification.
Sure.
Like Nakona, even finishing with teaching, I thought, okay, we'll do teaching and then I will be a stay-at-home mom. Maybe that's why I can't see myself at the end of it all, at the end of this degree. But then he called me to become a stay-at-home mom. And honestly, it was something that I kept saying to my husband, I would say, I can't wait to be a stay-at-home mom, you know. But I had a way that I wanted it to work out.
I
Sorry,
give
guys,
like little ad breaks when you burp.
I keep burping, guys. Sorry.
She's not alone.
I'm not. It sounds like I have demons.
She's got a child.
I am with child.
She's with child.
And so when God called me to be a stay-at-home mom at that time, I embraced it. And I was happy. But I think it was also a thing of, how are we going to do this with just one income in the household? And that was a journey as well of like just trusting God with where he's taking our lives and with my future. And so being a stay-at-home mom, surrendering to that was great while he was still at home, while he was still on paternity leave. The first day he went back to work,
Boah.
the kitchen bombed, guys. I wanted mac and cheese for lunch, and I only ended up eating it at 4 because I was trying to manage a newborn baby while taking care of a home and taking care of myself by myself. Luckily, your mom came over that Monday.
A mother knows.
Yo, and she helped me. She made the rest of the mac and cheese because I ate it without the cheese. I just had mac. I just had mac, bro, because I was hungry. It was like 4 o'clock, bruh. And she helped me, and I think, I'm not sure if I cried, but I remember I was feeling very overwhelmed because I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, like all by myself, you know? So being a stay-at-home mom is very glamorized when you see it on TV sometimes. But then the reality is that, there's so much that goes into it, because it's like you're not your old self anymore. And I had to literally mourn my old self.
Sure.
Because I was no longer Zintle, the person without a child. I was now a mother. And there was just that conflict of like, who am I as a mother? Am I even doing this right?
Sure.
am I making my husband proud? Is he proud of me? Like,
Is he happy here?
is he happy here? You know, am I happy here? Is this what I imagined for my life? Is this what my life is gonna be, where I'm just in bantu knots and
In a gown.
in a gown and crying here and there and feeling like I'm losing my mind, all while my hormones are doing their own things. My body is trying to go back to its normal self, where I feel ugly. I feel unloved. I feel this way. I'm going through so many things. I'm paralyzed. Like, I had such a paralysis, you know. I was just going through so much, bruh. Like, that it was so hard to articulate what it was, and even to try to explain to my husband why I'm like this or what's going on was very hard. And I think that to a certain point it did frustrate him, because it's like, hey, man, like what's going on? But, you know, I think that's
I have to explain what happened to those of us who are listening. So my girl is deep in her story, and I'm seeing a little flap on her lip, dog. And I think it's dead skin. And she's busy there talking, bruh. And I'm watching this thing, but I'm also like focusing on what she's saying. But this flap, and then she does this thing where she like, I think she tried to lick it, or she like removed it with her teeth. She removed it with her teeth, and I pulled her face.
it's too bad. I didn't remove it. I was trying to be discreet, and then just
But the thing is, the rest of your lips are glossy, and then there's this one island that's brown and just like flapping, sticking out. I'm sorry. And you were so deep in your story, dog.
And the thing is, my lips became like this with pregnancy.
Ish.
But anyways, child, so, you know, I'm going through like so much, and I'm trying to rediscover myself as this new person, because I don't know this person. All I know is what I was, you know, and life is carrying on.
Hey, it waits for no board.
It waits for no one. Like, it's not going to wait for me to be like, okay, let me pause. Let me figure myself out. Who am I? What's going on? So there was a lot of that happening. And I think even external things, like, you know, people just not understanding my season because they've never been in that season. And so people didn't necessarily have the best responses to me in that season, because I'm still doing other things, you know. It's not just me being a stay-at-home mom. There's responsibilities at church and all of these things. And that was a really hard time in my life. And then, but God was in it with me, because it, you know, I also experienced postpartum depression, and, you know, sometimes you're just sad for no reason. You're just sad and you're crying, and honestly, yeah, that's all. That's all I can say about that in terms of like the hormonal side of things. But God carried me, because even then I had suicidal thoughts as well.
Sure.
You know, things that, like, my old thought patterns were coming back in terms of like suicidal thoughts and wanting to cut and wanting to resort to those old methods, you know. And I had to think of my son, you know. I'm like, I'm raising a beautiful boy, and I had to focus that, like, this is a gift from God, you know. And God was truly in it with me. He didn't get me out of it. He got me through it. And it was like a character building time for me, where I have no career.
Your husband raised his arms like, what about me?
What about you? What?
Oh.
Wait, what about him? What?
You have God and you have a career, yeah?
And I have a loving and supporting husband. I love you, baby. This one goes to you. I met my love.
That's my husband.
But yes, I also had my husband.
He's
not dead, he's alive. I also have my husband. And I think it also took a toll on our marriage. Moment of vulnerability, because it's like, this is a new season.
And you're a new person.
And I'm a new person.
You're not the girl he married.
Exactly. Like, what is going on, you know? So it challenged our marriage. Like, being a stay-at-home mom brought on so many challenges, because now I had to learn how to juggle so many things by myself while he's also handling like a different part of our lives, you know? And I have this responsibility, and I'm like, but who am I? Your ads come in so late. Sorry, every time
I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
It's yo.
Kanti, she's bothering.
Yeah.
That one smelled a bit flavored.
Yeah, it's those supplements. So yeah, I think that's how I got to where I am right now as a stay-at-home mom. But then I continued to journey with God. And I continued in obedience, because I was like, okay, I'm tired of walking in blind faith, because it just leads to disappointment. So God, I'm just going to listen to you from now on. And I've been listening to God, and here I am now, 2 businesses, and it's honestly insane, because I never saw myself as a businesswoman.
Neither did I.
And I'm like,
I say that in the best way possible.
I know, that's why I didn't comment. Because now I'm like, I'm loving this side of me, and I love it, you know. But it's crazy, because now that I found my work, the enemy is challenging that.
The enemy. He had. But Jesus said you are mine.
Where it feels like there's such a block. And I'm like, it leads me to paralysis, and then I can't do this thing, and then it's like, what's going on? So I know that this is where I need to be, because it's blocking my purpose. It's blocking the thing that God has placed inside of me to contribute to society, you know, my thing for his kingdom. And so I'm currently there right now. Things are getting better, and I'm getting a lot better at it, and trying to flourish in this thing. And I really love it here, you know. And God keeps showing me like potential clients and all these things, and I'm like, I get so happy and so giddy, because I'm like, God is showing me what this thing can look like if I just stop being afraid.
Yeah.
And I'm there right now in the space of trying to not be afraid anymore and fighting back. And so that's how I got here. I had to embrace surrender, full on surrender. I had to relearn myself as a human being, as a person. I had to learn what my passion is, you know, what gets me going, you know, and accept that my journey does not look like everybody else's, and embrace that, because there's a beauty in that, because not everyone wants to look alike, you know?
Yeah.
And there's a beauty in being different.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're doing so great, sweetie. And I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, mommy.
We don't have a lot of time, but there's so many other things that I wanted to touch on. Busyness, for instance, how we're in a culture or a lifestyle that looks like your worth or your success in life is sort of weighted or scaled with how busy you are and how busy you look. There's also the idolatry of work. If you're not watching, just know that her earring fell out. There's also the idolatry of work, which I don't think a lot of people are aware of, that they are fixated and obsessed with this thing, that they're losing sight of themselves. And it's something that you mentioned as well, like you didn't care what it was as long as you have something and you're doing something.
Yeah.
So in a world where we idolize and we put work at such a high pedestal, something that I'm seeing being a thing that we slack at is rest. And it is such a fundamental thing.
It's biblical.
That God did it himself.
Yeah.
but we have people working 24/7.
Yeah.
And do you have any commentary about that? Like, how do we as human beings wrestle with that, where rest culture is not a thing? And when you're sitting down, I think even some people feel guilty when they're not doing anything. They feel like they must. Short, sharp, share. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Don't idolize your work. Like, God wants the best for us. And I think when God blesses you with something, you turn it into a curse. And you become miserable in the thing. You see the thing that you were praying for, the thing that you were asking for people to pray for. And then when you get it, it's a praise report. And then that praise report turns into a prayer request. It's like, yo. Because the one who blessed you with it stops being the apple of your eye. He stops being your God. But this thing now takes that position. You've put the blessing on the throne, you know? And that's what makes you unhappy.
Yeah.
But as long as you're putting God on the throne and you're allowing him to lead you and take charge in what he has blessed you with, I think that will help you to not idolize your work so much and rest and function like a person should, like the way God designed. Like, you work and then you rest. You work and like this. God wants balance, you know, and we create an imbalance in our lives. And I think that's it happens that we
these past few months.
But the minute you remove God and he stops being a priority, it shows. Your joy is not there. Your love is not there. You know, so many aspects and so many aspects and values of God just kind of go out the window. And that's where you see that you've left him.
Yeah.
The one that actually gave you this. Yeah. Do you have any remarks on that?
Nah.
Okay.
You did good, kid.
Thanks, man.
Quick one. Work, hear me out.
Work, hear me out. Trust God with your work. Honestly, it's the best decision you could ever make. It's what I did. It took me years. But you never, how old was I? I think I was 25 when I finally figured out what I wanted to do with my life.
Prefrontal cortex.
And finally surrendering to God, it took me long. But I'm finally here because of a patient God who never gave up on me. So trust God with your career. Trust God with where he's leading you, because where he's leading you is going to be so amazing. It's going to feel like just right. It's going to feel like Cinderella's shoe, the perfect fit. Yeah, what's your work? Hear me out.
The perfect fit.
My
hear me out is Matthew 6 verse 33. But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. I'm just going to pack the kari. Yeah.
All right.
Underrated scripture.
Bye, friends.
Bye.